10 tips for quarantine travel. Okay, oh my god, I have to get used to this. This is so weird. I don't know how these YouTube people do this because it's freaking weird. But guess what? I'm a YouTube people now, so I do this. Hey gems. I'm a YouTube people. Oh my god. Oh that. Hello gems and welcome to my channel. Okay, so this is pretty weird. This is my first time doing a video where I'm like talking directly to the camera like this, just sitting down. It's gonna be something to get used to, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it's a new experience and I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. But as you can tell by the title, I'm gonna be dropping 10 tips for COVID travel. I'm trying to keep this video as short as possible, just giving 10 tips for traveling during quarantine. So keep in mind that you want to do your own research. I think that would be the number one tip. Tip number one should be popping up in the screen. I did that. Tip number one. Ding. Tip number one is you want to make sure that you do your own research, because don't come to this video and think that you're gonna find all the answers, because keep in mind I live in Canada and the restrictions can be different for your country. So that is the number one tip. Do some research for sure. Watch the video. Don't just click off. Continue watching this video, but do your own research in terms of your own country and find out what are the restrictions. Tip numero dos. Numero dos. I'm trying to learn Spanish, so bear with me. Tip number two is you need to bring your mask. I think that goes without saying. Tip number two is definitely bring your mask. Even though Air Canada will provide this little, like, they had a little cute like bag, a little sandwich bag filled with some goodies in there that consisted of masks, hand sanitizer, some hand wipes, little things like that. So but still make sure you bring your own masks, even though for Air Canada, if you are flying Air Canada, they will provide a little sanitary pack for you too. And be prepared to wear that mask the whole entire flight. In terms of, I guess tip number four, or number three, tip number three, or four, tip number four, I can't remember, lost track, but one of the tips is to, that you'll have to fill out some COVID forms. So that's something that I did have to do before I left. I didn't have to take an actual COVID test to go to Cancun, Mexico, but I did have to fill out some forms beforehand, just basic forms asking, like, you know, if I've been sick within the last how many days, if I plan to quarantine when I come back. So they just ask that, basic questions like that. You fill that out. I make sure to do, that's tip number four. Or tip number five. Like I said, I lost track, but one of the other tips is to make sure that you fill out everything that you can fill out online beforehand. Do that. Anything, if it's checking in, if you can check in online beforehand, if you can fill out any documentation in terms of COVID documentation, fill that out beforehand, because again, all these little things save time. You know, you only have a limited amount of time to catch your flight, and you don't want it to be taken up by filling out all these little things on the way. Keep in mind that there's no in-cart service, like in-cart air service, whatever you call it. Basically the thing that they bring the snacks on and all that, there's none of that. Like, I think you can get water, you can have water if you ask for it, and they do come around with like the cart for drinks. But in terms of ordering food or anything like that, that's a no-no. There's none of that. So what I always do is stop at your neighborhood dollar store and stock up. Get snacks. I always get peanuts, chips, some whatever, candies, anything, just to, like, you know, it's not a long flight, but just something to snack on so that you don't starve. Make sure you do your research beforehand, like in terms of doing actual research on the destination that you want to visit. So beforehand, I made sure to check out, because I knew I was going to Cancun and I knew specifically the area that I was going to be staying in. I made sure to look up some of the places in that area to find out what would be open and what would be closed. And I was still able to go to some of my favorite taco spot in Playa, so that was good. That was open. But one thing that I really wanted was a marquesita, and you know, I couldn't find that. I went all the way to Playa just to find the marquesita, and I couldn't find it anywhere because things are weird during COVID. You have to just keep that in mind, that a lot of maybe your favorite destinations, some of the things that you really wanted to do are not going to be open. So do the research before you get there, and so you won't be disappointed, because in the end it all ends in a happy story. I actually ended up getting my marquesita, which, if you don't know what a marquesita is, it's this lovely Mexican street dessert that they have on the streets. And it's like, if I can compare it to anything, it's like a crepe, but it's like crispy. So it's like a crispy crepe with cheese inside. Get the one with cheese. I'm telling you, at first I was kind of like, I'm not sure about it, because, you know, cheese and caramel and all these things mixed together, I wasn't sure. But the one with cheese, caramel, and some leche, the white sweet thingy, that is the one to get. So yeah, that's just my little story about marquesita, because I love it so much. In terms of the flight, yes, so tip number 6, like my flight was actually, it was pretty it was not that full. And if there's a lot of space on your flight, you can ask your flight attendant to switch your seat to get a better comfortable seat, so you can be more within the precautions of COVID, of course. You can ask them for a window seat or whatever. But at that point, yeah, if you feel like you need some more social distance between you and somebody, if there's enough space, then you can ask your flight attendant. So that's a key. So yes, also they did check my temperature. That was another thing that was, I guess, different in terms of traveling now versus before. They do check your temperature on my way, when I was boarding the plane. If you have any questions about, specific questions about my trip to Cancun, what I seen, what I did, anything like that, what places were open, what places were closed, any of the specific places that I went to, which I will try to actually link in the video. I always try to, I always like to give that information, the specific places that I went to that I enjoyed, because if I enjoy it, you know it's a good place, because I'm very picky. I'm very picky. So yeah. So if it's approved by Low, then you know it's a go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm happy that you stayed till the end of the video to watch the little mini vlog of what footage I could gather since my phone was gone. But here, yeah, I hope you enjoy my trip to Cancun, Mexico.